Okay, we'll start from where we left off from the vlog number 1. So all we need to do is just open our database, in our case my Db Accounting, and in this video we'll demonstrate how to use a query builder and SQL to build a general ledger. You can pause this screen and input the data as is in the table general journal. Okay, so let's continue. So the next thing we need to do right now is create a query builder. So in this case we can find that here in the create tab and then click query design. Okay, so in this case I already have the query cache general journal, but in our case we'll add, so we'll start from there. So what we did is to select the first column. This is my date, and then long press hold the shift key and then click amount, so it will select all. Okay, and then all we need to do is just filter account ID column, and which is 101. If we're gonna run that datasheet view, voila, we have summarized the cache transactions. Okay, so we're going to check that we have the first transaction, which is an investment, and then the second one is an operating expenses, and then the third one is actually a sales, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. Okay, so we already have done that here, so we don't save this anymore. The next thing we need to do is create the other accounts, and we can just copy that, okay, and rename the query into, let's say, inventory geo. So we click the design view, here it goes, and change the account ID, which is 103. And if we're gonna run that, the datasheet view, here it is, the summary of inventory. Okay, so simple as that. We can do the same thing for the other accounts. If you want to start from here, you can also do the same. Close that, and then again filter it with accounts receivable code this time. If we're gonna save this, because we're pretty sure that this is accounts receivable, very AR GL. Okay, if we're gonna click this one, I'm sorry, what happened there is that we did not put wait a minute, I think we don't have an AR. I'm sorry, my bad. Let's go back to our transactions. Do we have PPE? Yes, and the account for PPE is 104. Okay, so my bad. We'll rename this later. We'll just save that, because we can't rename a file when it's open. Did I open that? Rename, yes. PP. Okay, so that's it. We'll do the same thing for the other accounts. Alright, we're back. Let's do the SQL scripting. Right, in the previous SQL, we build the SQL through a query builder. Okay, so what do I mean by that? If we're gonna look at let's try to close this. So if we're gonna look at, for example, the query cache GL, we go to the design view. Okay, click the design view and then right click again and click SQL. As you can see, we have here an SQL generated by MS Access. And if you're familiar with macro recorders, it's similar to that. Okay, so what we do right now is we close this and we create a new query. Okay, at this time we don't need anything, we just go immediately to the SQL view. So as you can see, it has the default syntax of an SQL, which is select and from. From necessarily means that it references the table, so where you want to get your columns, and you want to add columns here, right, in the select part. So what columns do we have here? We have a my date, we have account name, account ID, trans ID, and the amount. So we all need to do that, or we're gonna put the asterisk, meaning we're gonna select everything. But that won't end there, because if we're gonna click the design view, it simply recreated our table, so we need to filter. Okay, so we go back to the SQL view and we add be sure to add before the semicolon, and we put the where clause. This is the sort of filter. Okay, so where account ID equals let's say 201, which is for the payable. Okay, this time, so we're gonna run that. We have the accounts payable, but like I said, we have a different but more like simpler account, rather SQL, compared to the first three SQL generated by the query builder we have. Okay, so simple as that. So now we save this. We save this to query APGL. So we will save the other remaining accounts. So 301 common stock. So again, we'll just copy the APGL, which is generated by scripting rather than by query builder. So we need to query C as GL common stock. So this time common stock, we open that, we go to the SQL view and change it to 301. We're gonna run this. Voila, it's common stock. But mind you, at this point, the query builder and the SQL scripting script is pretty much the same. If we're gonna go back to the design view, it's the same. See, it's just a wildcard that account ID and the filter is 301. Okay, but it generates the same results. Okay, so we'll try to instead of using the asterisk, we'll try to put all the names here manually. Okay, copy account ID, account, trans ID. We're almost done. And then the last part is amount. I'll just type it. Okay. And click design view. So you see it's the same. Except that there's a where clause. It generated a 2 account ID. See, one is for simply the where part, the filter part, but it's closely similar, right? It's similar. Okay, as for now, but later on you will see that when we tackle joins, there are joins that the query builder cannot replicate the scripting anymore. Okay, so that is why it's very important to learn SQL. So this is your first glance of your SQL view. Okay, so select part shows the columns, and from part, the from clause is your table where you get your columns, and then the where part is your filter. So that's it. Okay, you can do the other parts as well. I mean, you can finish the remaining accounts. We have cost of goods sold and sales and operating expenses. So I'll leave that to you, so we can finish this video already. Thanks, and don't forget to subscribe. Wait for my next video.